Hey, welcome to another edition of The Asylum. And today I have a special guest who is a very young and talented person here with the Abyss. I have Patience. Um, I'm sorry, last name again. I'm sorry.
Jessia, you're all good.
I'm sorry. Patience Jessia. And she is the owner and the baker of Patiently Baked. Uh, I've had the pleasure of actually experiencing her baked goods at every Beltane. So, welcome to the Asylum Patients. Uh, Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Again, my name is Patience. I'm 18, and around this time last year, I decided to open up Basically Bake. It's always been my dream to bake ever since I was a young kid. In the eighth grade, I like really solidified it. Even before then, I would bake just to kind of get me going, get me moving, get me out of my bed during COVID, just to like have me do something. So I started just baking, and then my teachers liked it, my friends liked it. I'm like, maybe I should do this as a profession. This is kind of fun. I looked into it, and last year I decided to open up this debate.
You're so young, and that is, I really can't tell you enough how you're more mature for your age because you're 18. You're technically, by the time this comes out, you would have been graduated and you're on your way to college. But to love baking this much, because they like baking and it's a hobby. But when did you start baking?
So that's kind of an odd question. I mean, I've always been baking. I mean, everybody does the box mixes. Everybody used to watch, Chopped, Goodies, all those cooking shows. But I didn't really start to get into home baking until maybe 12, 13. The
Wow.
passion, the passion didn't really like come to me until then.
Do you come from a line of bakers?
Absolutely not. Nope. Nope.
Absolutely not. Because I know, well, you said you were 12. That was pre-COVID then. So you already had the passion for baking prior to, because most people got their motivation around that time, but you already had that motivation. And your friends, it was a love-hate relationship because they got good food, but you didn't do good for the waistline.
Nope.
So I have to also ask the name Patiently Baked. Oh, can you
So,
tell us a little bit about the choosing that name?
so obviously my name's Patience, so it's a little bit of a twist on my name. But also, when I first started to bake, like basic chocolate chip cookies, that takes a person maybe 1, maybe 2 hours, depending if you let your dough chill, the rest and whatnot. It would take me like 5. But it would take me an ungodly amount of time, and I could never do it correctly. I would just have to keep repeating over and over and over again. They would never come out right. They'd always be flat, like those crisp, like snap cookies. Never, they were not good. You would not want to eat my cookies at the very beginning.
I have to tell you, and this is when you were 12, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell you, you have the right name, Patience, and you chose the right name, Patiently Baked, only because I know a few adults that, and I was one of them at one point, that after they tried it and it took that long, they would say, okay, forget it. I'll just go to the store. But is baking the only thing you put that much motivation into?
Well, of course, I have my hobbies. Huge. I love fashion. Of course, I love cooking. Fashion. I like to make my own clothes. I like to sew, knit, crochet. Um, I do costumes for my high school, all that kind of stuff. Um, love to draw, love to paint. stuff like that. I love to garden. I'm very passionate about gardening, which also will correspond to baking. So I'm on the business team as business captain for my robotics team at the high school. So I've always had this like semi passion for business as well. But I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I'll be honest. I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I'd rather make up my own hours. And so I have this passion for baking and I have a passion for business. And at the time when I started my business, I'll be honest, I couldn't find a job. And I'm like, I need money. I know it's a little crazy of me to do, but I decided, you know what? I want to open up my own business in the future. Why shouldn't I just start now? What's stopping me from starting now?
Now, it is not crazy, actually. It's actually beautiful, only because there's a lot of people who are much, much older than you, who's been out there in the world, who's been in that position where I can't find a job, I need money. And the last thing they do is they turn something they love and they're like, I could profit from this. Now, I know you had to get your parents' help with this. How was when you first pitched it? How was it?
My parents have always been supportive, and like I will forever be grateful for that. They never said, "Oh, these cookies are really gross" to my face. Their face showed it, but they never said it.
Mom and dads will never.
Um, when I had first pitched the idea, they were very enthusiastic. Um, how do we get in? The only reason I have been able to do so many events as I do is because of my mom, who also has like runs her own small business and has these in with other vendors. And so I've met lots of people, and she's done so many events that I'm able to, get a little bit of an in, a little bit of leeway, just like getting to know people and stuff like that. So they were very supportive. My father, he's helped me so much on the financial side. Butter is expensive, eggs are expensive.
Yes, and
I've
they keep
spent
getting expensive.
so much butter. I've gone through so much flour. The amount of times I've had to run to the store. They are so supportive, and I'm forever grateful. And I like thank you to them. I wouldn't be able to do this without
That actually, that's it's wonderful to have a beautiful support system. Now, I'm going to go back to the baking part of things, only because many people, there's adults that can't bake. I don't believe that, but a lot of them can't bake. And you were not only able to go from starting with box cakes and cookies and probably the Pillsbury dough uh, cookies that we all start out with, and you went to start making your own designs and your own flavors and your own unique cookies during the time when you fell in love with baking. Did you take any formal classes?
No, actually, like I said before, like growing up, I've always watched like Kids Baking Championship, Chaw, Good Eats, and stuff like that. But I wouldn't watch videos. When I first started, I actually didn't even use recipes. I just kind of threw it together. So maybe that's why it turned out good. But you know, just I kind of just did it. Like I would research recipes when I was younger. I would just pick the first one. I'm like, okay, that one looks good. Now it's more, okay, I found this recipe, but this one kind of does something different. I do more research. I do research on the ingredients, how everything works, like the science behind it, the chemistry and all that. Kind of create my own, I guess, a little bit of a unique twist on certain cookies and all that.
Now, you mentioned a show that I actually liked myself. Actually, it had the opposite effect of me because I was big on baking and you never wanted me on top of a stove. Your first chocolate chip cookies with me is me cooking on top of the stove back then. And then you mentioned Good Eats.
I love that show. That show will forever be in my heart. That show, I would sit every night with my dad. We would sit on the couch together and like watch that show every morning. I'd eat breakfast in elementary school and watch that show with him. It really got me into the passion of food.
Actually, he is back, but he's not on. He's on YouTube now, and I catch him every week. Um, but it's funny how his show helped it, and I was going to ask you that another question before you said good eats, but I think you answered it. But I'm going to ask it anyway, because the way you approach baking, which I think is the right way to approach it, were you good at science? Because you were. Don't laugh. You
I'm
you
not. I'm really not.
you approach it as a science project. You're like, okay, let me try this, let me try that. This didn't work, but let me adjust this and let me adjust that. Which is basically the well, I found the correlation that a baker is like a scientist for food because
Absolutely.
it's easier, which I'm ashamed to say, it's easier to cook on the stove, which is something I took years to figure out how to do right, than it is to bake. It is a precise science. And the fact that you were able to get it, because I still can't make cookie dough. So I'm sure what you called awful chocolate chip cookies is better than the chocolate chip cookies I could still make today. But do you have anything to say to anyone, any tips to give to anybody who just started, no matter what age, started their baking journey? Because there's a difference between baking and stovetop cooking.
That's a great question. Um, baking is chemistry. Like there's no doubt about it. You don't need to research it. Baking is chemistry. I almost failed chemistry though. So I almost failed chemistry. Um, you don't need to know every little bit of it, but when you're first starting out, keep your butter. It's a good rule of thumb. Take out your ingredients, especially your butter and your eggs, around 15 minutes before you start baking. Always have your stuff at room temperature. Eggs, it's easier to crack your eggs after room temperature. Butter, you want your butter to not to be soft, but when you touch it, you want it to have like a little bit of a bounce back. You don't want to really have like a full indent. You don't want to have oil all over your fingers from the butter. Um, always have your ingredients. I can't. There's been countless times where I've been mid bake and I'm out of an ingredient.
Oh,
Cookies. Usually, if you want a much like a bit of a bigger cookie, have your dough chill, have your dough rest. It solidifies everything. It's easier to mold, create with. Recently, I've made cake. If you're making cake, I love putting cinnamon in things. If you're like a little short on the vanilla extract, add a little bit more cinnamon to your recipe. It accentuates the flavor. It tastes really good. So
actually, I have to ask you. I tell you, you're speaking like a pro. You're gonna be a pro. I know you are, but you're speaking like you should be on the Food Network. Um, actually, have you thought about joining those competitions, or they didn't even pass your mind?
those competitions are intense. I kudos and props to any person who's ever been on a cooking competition. Have I thought about it? A little bit, but I don't think I would be good at that type of stuff. It's very high tech, it's very intensive. I like to, again, take my time with my baking. Those are also industrial kitchens. Another little secret of mine, I've only ever done home baking, not industrial baking. Two different, two different things.
Well, soon that's gonna change. You're off to college soon, so I assume you're going to college for baking, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
So,
I'm going to Johnson Wales University in Rhode Island for baking and pastry arts, and it's a dual degree, so a 2+2 program, where I'll be getting my bachelor's in food and beverage industry management. That way, I'm able to run and own my own sort of cafe situation.
oh, please let us know when that happens because I'll probably be the first one in line. I look forward to every Beltane when you're there because I love your cookies. It's wonderful. If you ever have a chance, I think you have one more vending event before you go to college.
Yes, I do. Of course, I'd love to plan more events, but my events are few and far between. It was usually during school, but now that it's summer, I wasn't really able to get in. I didn't really have time to focus on patient rebate. Uh, Graduation and all that stuff takes a lot of time. The whole college dorm situation, all of that has definitely taken my mind and taken my focus a little bit, unfortunately. But I do have one more event in August. What's it? It's Pagan Pride. I'm
Yes,
not.
it's
I mean, I'm not very. I'm not very in depth with the whole paganism and witchcraft and all of that. My mother is. I do support it. I'm not a hater. I'm not against it. I think it's very interesting. I think it's very creative and a great outlet. But I mean, I do love the event. People there are so nice and so sweet. It'll be my second time there, and I believe that was my first ever event. So I am very happy to come back. That was definitely my debut. So I'm so happy to be coming back to it in August.
oh, okay. And then you're going to take a break while you're in school, obviously. But I have to ask you a question because, okay, it's been a while since I've been in school. So, did you have home economics in your school or anything like that?
So with the home economic situation, personally for my high school, we had a home economics in middle school, which I did not get the full experience of due to COVID. And now in high school, we have electives such as culinary arts, and we have programs. I know in New York, we have something called BOSI, where you're able to go to a different school and practice there and get certain licensing. Licensing. I did not do that. I think it's a great opportunity for other students, though. I also did not take my school's culinary arts class. I did not do that role either. It's not really my schedule. Um, but it's not a requirement for students anymore to take it, at least for my high school.
No, they got actually when I was coming through school, and yes, I'm going to date myself. They just got rid of home economics. It was I got it. I was in school during the tail end, and I've always said that that was an injustice because it helped. It helped because like you fell in love with it, but there are so many people that probably won't fall in love with it till they're older because they didn't have the experience of actually baking in the school and having teachers trying and have other people try it. Because like you said, mom and dad is always going to say, that's good, no matter what you do. But to get other opinions and learn constructive criticism um, is important in this process. And now, how do you feel now? Because after COVID, although yes, you didn't get to experience your home economics in school, but after during COVID and after COVID, there was a big influx of baking and cooking going on that people were actually fine tuning it. How does that make you feel?
I mean, baking and like the culinary arts are for everybody. I, Home economics, like we were talking about before, it's an important skill that everybody can know. You should know how to cook for yourself, bake for yourself. You should understand food safety. That way, you're not hurting yourself or others. These are basic skills that everybody should know. And I think when everybody started doing it in COVID, because I know COVID like hit me real hard. I was in the kitchen every day, walking in. um, it's such an important skill, and so people finding that passion, people finding what they love. Everybody on the internet has had during COVID a different perspective on what they wanted to do. Everybody focused and kind of fine tuned their own thing. Some people like the whole cloud bread trend, 2020, that was all egg whites and everything like that. So people learning, not everybody knows that egg whites can turn meringue and all that other stuff, and icing and everything. I think it was a great learning opportunity for everybody, including myself.
Unfortunately, a lot of people has taken it for granted. A lot of people order out and to find high quality, good food is hard. That's why I was so amazed. And when I found out how old you were, I was like, Oh no, I have to have her on the show. We have to share. And now you're going to college. You're going to be a future. What do you call it? A head baker.
So everyone's considered chef, like the teachers and then anyone, even like baking pastry art majors who graduated or own their own bakery, they are still considered a chef.
That you'll be a chef. you're you're
Or
going to
baker,
be, huh?
or baker.
Oh, either which way, as long as you keep making those cookies. Um, but as for some, you said you didn't come from a line of bakers. So did you teach your mom to bake?
My family's more of a box mix family, so I'd go into the kitchen like, oh, mom, dad, I'm gonna make brownies. And they're like, oh, we have box mix in the basement. Like that sounds good.
Oh,
Um, I mean, my family can certainly cook. I will not deny that fact. Every home cooked meal is a good meal. There's never been a bad meal in my house.
but the
But
baking you take over.
the baking I take over. Yeah,
That's actually quite interesting. I mean, you've given some tips that I even will implement when I bake myself, taking out the eggs. And do you do stovetop cooking?
I do. Yeah,
Okay, so this question is about cooking versus baking. Now, you mentioned earlier that with baking, make sure you have all the ingredients out before you start. Do you do the same thing when you cook?
I do. Yeah,
Oh,
cooking. I feel like depending on the recipe, of course, you can be a little bit more lenient. Um, yes, it's not going to taste as good if you kind of miss an ingredient or you add too much salt, obviously. But with baking, it's more of a connected science. It's more if you add too much of one ingredient, the whole thing's ruined, and you can't necessarily go back and fix it.
that's true. You could always adjust it a little bit better on the when you're actually cooking than baking. Once you put everything together, it's too late.
Once it's in the oven, it's like your hands are free, your hands are tied.
Yeah, it's let this rise correctly. So, okay, you mentioned meringue and everything else. So you don't just make cookies though.
I do not. I only sell cookies because it's more easier. You can make a lot very fast, very efficient, and not everybody's oven is the same as well. So just trying to like make cookies and cupcakes and brownies and bars and all this other stuff, it's very hard to do a lot of different things as a home baker.
So I know you're going to school. Your school, what do you see for your future? What are you hoping for? But what are you hoping for? We know you're thriving to be baker, probably have your own storefront. But what are you hoping to see develop from your experience? Because you're ahead of the game for your age. I'm gonna let you know you're ahead of the game.
Thank
Um, but what is your final dream that you're focusing on for your baking venture?
So after college, I'm hoping I'm gonna probably end up finding a job with hopefully another bakery or cafe to save up money because opening up your own place from scratch is very, very pricey, very, very expensive. So my goal even now is to kind of just continue to put and set aside money. I'm hoping before 35, 33 to have enough money to pick up, to be able to put down that loan, be able to put down a starter for an actual storefront, get everything, get the ovens, get everything I need to start beginning to open them. I try my best to promote myself on social media and all that, so hopefully I'll be a big presence by then. That way people know, people understand. I'll probably be also doing other events, small ones like Taking Pride or Belgium, or conventions of that sort. So starting small
Maybe
and then hopefully building up.
maybe even Yule, because I think they have Yule too out here in Long Island. They do
They
Yule,
have
but no, it's so we're gonna so basically your last appearance for this year will be Pagan Pride.
most likely, yes.
Yes. And then you go to school and then we'll be anxiously waiting for you to graduate and bring back your cookies. And
Hopefully I'll be
actually,
able to do stuff in between though. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed I can do some stuff in between, depending. We'll see how it goes.
fingers crossed. I'm hoping the same. I'm hoping that too. You have such a bright future. And you are coming up on a time where I don't know if you're aware where most people are getting back to doing things on their own instead of going out and running out to buy stuff. They would rather stay home and do it and learn how to do it right. And you add it and you're ahead of the game because not only do you do it and you do it right, you put your own twist on your cookies. And it's like combinations that I know I can't go anywhere and get. So I look forward to Belting and now Pagan Pride when I see your booth. So I is there any last remarks, any social media you want to plug where people could follow Patiently Baked, so they could see when you're around and when you're posting, when you're vending and where.
Well, thank you so much for having me again. This is such an amazing experience I never thought I would have at this age. It's such a small, like it's such a hometown type of situation. Like only my teachers and my friends know that I do this kind of stuff. So to be on here has been an absolute dream. Like I go to bed like kicking my feet that I got an email about this. So
It
I just
is.
want to thank you again.
Oh, thank you. You are people talk. We look forward to when Beltane. They're like, is she gonna be there? Is she gonna be there with the cookies? I want those cookies. So people look forward to seeing you there and have and enjoying your cookies. So, like I said, you have a bright future, and I can't wait. I'll be your first customer there, probably when you open your storefront.
Thank you so much. Um, People can find me on. I only have an Instagram for Patiently Baked as of right now. It's like my kitchen is not suited for content. Plates everywhere, cups everywhere. Like I've got to scrub the whole thing down before I start. I have to make room for myself before I can even begin baking. Sanitary support. Um, you can find me on Instagram at Patiently Baked. Just just the title. It'll have my cute little pink flower logo all over it. And I mean, it's such a dream. It takes so long to bake. I mean, Beltane, I was planning almost 2 months before because I would go to school, I'd come back, and would have to immediately start baking, or I'd come back, or I'd go to school, go to extracurriculars, and then come back, bake till my heart content, hope for the best, run out of ingredients, go back to the store, come back, and just planning everything, writing out my recipes, making sure they went well. There were times when actually it didn't go well, and I had to restart. It put me behind, trying to plan everything out. I'm so happy Beltane went so well. I would actually didn't expect to almost sell out at that event. Everyone there was so kind and so supportive. It was so sweet seeing people. I saw returning customers, which is also another crazy thing to say that I have returning customers, even though I've done such little events. Um, I mean, I've been contacted before saying thank you, or like I'd love to see another event, or just like those were really good. It warmed my heart. It fills my passion and makes me want to continue to create bake and like bake and just cook and come up with recipes myself. That's my favorite part of the whole thing is testing out new recipes. Um, like pulling the cookies out the oven. That's my favorite part. The smells. Ooh,
Ugh.
like I don't care what anybody says. Like when I'm baking, it smells really good. It smells really good. When someone's baking, it smells so good. But I'm so happy everything's been taking off as it is. I would have never dreamed that only 2 years into my small little business, I would have so much love and so much support from the people around me and outside of my community. I cannot thank people enough. I'm so grateful, and I can't wait to continue baking and learn more and continue my family college and out of college.
Actually, hopefully, when you come back for a break, we could have you back on for updates and let you know. Uh, and thank you for coming on. I know this is a busy week. You had what? Happy belated birthday. You had a belated
Thank
birthday.
you.
You still have prom coming up, and you still have graduation coming up. So thank you for taking the time during this very busy week for you. And yes, hopefully I'll see you at Pagan Pride. I'm hoping to make it at Pagan Pride so we could connect again. And please enjoy your summer. I can't wait till you come back from college. And everyone, please follow her at Patiently Baked on Instagram to see what wonderful culinary experiments she's up to as she's going through school. Thank you
Thank you
for
so much for everything and having me.
Thank you, and thank you for coming on the show. And hopefully, we'll have you. Well, you'll let me know how your schedule is, and we can have you back on and see how you're doing because you have a fan club. Yes, you do. You
I
have
would
a fan club.
absolutely love. I'd love to stay in contact.
All right, and thank you, and everyone else. I'll catch you on the next Asylum.